We had a blast at Starcast 6. A huge thank you to everyone who attended. And if you want to relive our stage show experience, you can with Premier Streaming Network. Over 20 stage shows took place Starcast weekend. From comedy shows, design panels, musical performances, talk shows, and more. Including a live edition of AEW Unrestricted with CEO Tony Khan. Sign up for Premier Streaming Network today and check out the shows available now on demand and in HD. And if you sign up today, you'll get 2 months free of Premier Plus. Enjoy the amazing lineup of content that Premier Streaming Network offers, including all 5 previous Starcast stage show lineups. Hundreds of hours of fantastic wrestling content at your fingertips. Visit StarcastOnPremiere.com.
Cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man.
I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world.
I make my own rules because it's much easier that way.
Trust me.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we're back for another episode of The Snake Pit. And that guy drinking coffee over there, you know who he is. That is the Hall of Famer, master of the DDT, pop culture icon, Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, what's going on, man?
Looking good, baby.
What does that say? I can't even read it from here.
It says looking good.
Looking, oh, well, you know.
Yeah, why
I
state
mirrors.
the obvious?
I have mirrors in my house. I already knew.
Yeah, right.
But Jake, it's you and I are just coming off of Starcast, our first ever live show. I'm hoping it won't be our last, man. It was a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. Surprised. I hope we won the record for the most F-bombs.
You know, I don't think anybody else got close.
Good. I wanted to blow them out of the water.
We keep it real on the Snake Pit, man, and we're keeping it real this week, looking back 35 years, man. We are talking about SummerSlam 1988. Yeah, it happened last month, but do you think I'm going to let this milestone pass us by without talking about it? No way, man.
Way.
So we'll get into it right here at the top of the show. I did want to give out a shout out to Andrew Hermes for his contributions to our show notes this week. He does research for Arn's podcast, and he came up with some great questions for this. So we're going to be using quite a few of them. So yeah, thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hell yeah.
Jake, on the way to SummerSlam, you're working against Rick Rude at house shows, and Meltzer points out that you are the one who's carrying the matches. How did you feel about your in-ring chemistry with Rick Rude? Did you feel like you were kind of running the show?
Yeah, I knew that he was following me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that he was letting me guide him. Surprised Meltzer had that much for me, but thank you.
You know, he tends to put you over here and there. He'll sprinkle in an asshole remark every so often.
Yeah,
but for the most part, he likes your work. I mean, when he says something like that, though, it makes me wonder, like, was Rude a good worker in your opinion, or how did you feel about his work?
He was a good worker, but, you know, he just had his thing that he did, his character, and he did it well, you know. I'm not going to bash Rude and say that he couldn't hold his own, because he could. Jesus Christ, are you kidding? In and out of the ring.
That's the other note that I have here, by the way, is that rumor has it you guys were a little bit snug during your matches. Can you speak to that? Is that true?
They were solid.
All right.
I like it solid, you know. That way there's no doubt about what I should sell and what I shouldn't sell, you know. I like it snug, and Rick didn't have a problem with that. Sometimes it went a little beyond, but if you gave one, you got one back, you know.
He's a big old tough dude, rock hard, as you've pointed out here on the show before.
Rock hard, man.
It's like once he gives you one, are you like, man, I hope he doesn't give me one back after I send one?
It made you keep your act clean, man, because you didn't want to give him one. Because if you gave him one, you knew that you were going to get it back, and damn,
man.
You know?
The stuff I've heard about him just being tough as nails. Rumor has it at one point he knocked out the Ultimate Warrior backstage. Any truth to that?
I had heard that. I also heard that he knocked out Beefcake in the ring.
Wow. Okay, I've never heard that.
I don't know anything about that, but that's just these rumors get started. You don't know what is and what isn't, if it's an accident or whatever.
It's hard to sift out the fact from fiction, that's for sure.
But he never knocked me out in the ring. Not to say that he couldn't have, because he damn sure could have.
Well, Rude is a veteran here, much like yourself, and he's the heel in this feud. And so it makes me wonder, traditionally we hear that heels are the ones that are calling the matches, but you're a little bit more of a polished worker. How does that go? Like, how do you determine?
He let me call it.
Okay.
He let me direct him, which, I have no problem doing, Basically, my job is to set him up for stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty damn good at it.
I would say so. Is that a thing that you communicate with him backstage before the match, or is it just happening when you're out there in the ring?
Just in the ring.
Interesting. Yeah, back in the day, there wasn't a lot of conversation and like, hey, we're going to do this spot or that spot. It was just like, all right, see you in the ring.
Yeah, we knew the finish. We knew what the finish was, so that's all you need to know.
Whole other era, man.
Yeah.
Well, we have this from the 6/13/1988 Observer. Craig DeGeorge's second interview was with Rick Rude, who kissed another girl. This guy has more heat on him than anyone I've seen in recent memory. Fans really hate his guts because of the Jake angle. I haven't seen a heel so universally hated in who knows how long. Even Roddy Piper always had a large throng of fans, but with the exception of a few women, and I mean very few, maybe a dozen, everyone booed Rude. I am impressed. Jake, I have to say, going back and watching these clips for research, I am also really impressed. Just a crazy amount of heat for Rick Rude, a deeply personal issue. What do you think made it resonate with fans so well?
Well, it was easy to understand. I mean, you don't do that. You're crossing the line. And angles like this always carry more heat because everybody can understand them. It's very simple. The problem, the issue is right out in front. You don't have to, well, maybe this, maybe that. No. He crossed the damn line, man. And when you're fortunate enough to get a program or an angle like this, you can run with it, man, because the heat's there.
There certainly was a lot of it, and it makes me wonder, Jake, you were involved in some hot angles, Earthquake, Honky Tonk Man. I mean, there was a lot of heat. Would you say that this one was the hottest angle that you worked in WWF?
Probably.
Gotta be.
The Savage thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that one is tough. That image of the snake gnawing on his arm is pretty hard to see.
Slapping Elizabeth. That's right up there with Rick Rude, slapping Liz.
I know we spoke last week about like you kind of regretted doing it because it essentially terminated the angle. But man, I'm kind of glad you did it because that is a hell of a moment.
It was a moment, man.
Well, in the same edition of The Observer, Meltzer mentions that there was talk of beginning a valet feud between Cheryl and Raven, who is Rick Rude's sister Nancy. I don't know how true that is or not, but was there ever any talk of Cheryl getting?
I never heard anything about that. I can tell you this: it wouldn't have happened.
Because of her, or because of you?
Because of Cheryl.
Ah, okay.
She's not getting in the ring for anything like that.
If she had wanted to, how would you have felt about it?
If she wanted to, it'd be different.
Mm-hmm.
If she had a real desire and was willing to take the bumps and the bruises, then fine. Okay, come on in. But don't come in here unless you expect to get your ass whipped, because you're going to get your ass whipped.
If not by your opponent, then by that stiff ring from back in those days.
Damn right.
I don't think I want to take a bump on it. This summer also marks your beginning of tag teaming with Jim Duggan against Andre and Rude. Jim is about as charismatic as they come, but a very, very different style from yours. And you'd worked with Jim prior, but this is your first time ever teaming up with him. What did you think about tag teaming with Jim?
It was all right. We did what we had to do. Got the match worked out and did it, and it was fine. All roses, man. No problems at all.
Now, I know that you're traveling with Cheryl during this era. Does that mean that it's yourself, Jim, and Cheryl
Oh, yeah.
riding together?
Oh, yeah.
I can only begin to imagine how crazy those car trips could get.
They were getting pretty weird.
I'm sure. Brother Love made his debut around this time, and one of his earliest interviews is with you and Cheryl to further the angle between yourself and Rude. It's our first clip this week. Let's go ahead and have a look.
Please welcome Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. And the Harlem.
And his wife,
Yep.
Cheryl.
Listen to the ovation.
Welcome, Brother Snake.
Snake Brothers, I'm not your brother. You got that? Now, I'm going to tell you the reason I came out here. There's only one. And that's because you had Rick Rude out here a few weeks back, and he's running his mouth saying what he's going to do to me, what he's going to do to her. Hey, man, what's your problem, huh?
Yeah, hang on. I'll get to you in just a minute. Because you are who I want to talk to. Sister Snake.
I'm not your sister. And I'm not related to anybody here except for this man.
Well, I do know one thing. You are not my sister. But I do believe that maybe I do know someone whom you are related to. Perhaps Jezebel.
Oh!
You know that microphone real still.
Better get somebody out there right
I'm
now.
going to tell you something right now.
Exactly what
It's
you
up to
deserve.
each individual to put a price on things that they own. Now, I have not overpriced anything,
Sweat.
especially my wife, brother. And it's a price that you or anybody else can afford to pay.
That was pretty fun, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard hamming it up in front of the camera is
Yeah.
You got to give the guy credit. He is very good at what he does.
Oh, he was very good. That thing should have went on forever. Brother, that never. I loved it. It never got old. It never got old.
Was it weird having Bruce all of a sudden in front of the camera now after being a producer for so many
Not
years?
for me. I mean, hell, you've been around the back forever. You might as well be in front of the camera. It's not like I didn't know who he was.
I bet it felt pretty good to snatch him up like that too and give him a shove there at the end.
Oh yeah. I cinched him up pretty good.
It's something I'm sure you've been wanting to do for a while.
Yeah. Still like to do it.
Well, Bruce had a Jezebel remark. Bobby Heenan used the word harlot there. I know that, previously you had some words with Heenan like, hey, that's about enough of that shit. Was there ever anybody else backstage you had to be like, okay, let's cool it on this sort of shit?
No. Everybody else was good, man.
All right. So Bruce's Jezebel remark was pre-planned, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, week 1 of the NFL is in the books, but football is back in full swing with another week of epic games and more chances to win big. And who's got you covered on the action? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. And nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SNAKEPIT to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SNAKEPIT. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Okay, guys, let's take a minute to talk about our sponsors, Manscaped. Fresh ball fall is upon us, and you need to be in the festive spirit. Light a candle, get some pumpkin spice, and make sure your balls look nice with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Nature may clear the leaves off their trees, but you'll need Manscaped's help to get you ready for that sweater weather. Get your pants puppies prepared for cuffing season with a trim as refreshing as a fall breeze by going to manscaped.com and using code SNAKEPIT for 20% off plus free shipping. It's time for nice flannels and cozy socks, but we can't forget to trim our balls. By now you've heard them. It's time to join the 9 million men worldwide using Manscaped and get the kit that covers it all, the Performance Package 4.0. It starts with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and cuts to make raking the leaves a lot less painful. We've all been there, haven't we, guys? Trying to clean things up a little bit below the waist, maybe moving a little too fast. Next thing you know, you've gotten color in the absolute last place you'd want it. That's enough to make anyone hesitate to do a little fall cleaning, but with Manscaped, you can get freshly shaved balls with full confidence that you won't do any damage to the family jewels. And that's not all Manscaped can help you with. Once you've cleared the driveway, the Performance Package comes in hot with products to cool you down. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, one to prevent stink and one to clear it up. With soothing aloe vera formula, move over pumpkin spice, fresh balls are the smell of the season. The Performance Package 4.0 caps it off with 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. That's one to hold your Manscaped goodies and one to hold your man goodies. Bring in the fall right and get 20% off and free shipping with the code SNAKEPIT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code SNAKEPIT. As the leaves fall, make sure you have it all with Manscaped. Well, Cheryl, she seems very, very comfortable out there in front of the camera for someone who's suddenly taking a role on national television out of nowhere. How did she feel about getting all of this attention all of a sudden?
She was scared to death.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cheryl doesn't want to be in front of the camera. You know, it's not her thing. You know, it's not her choice to do something like that. I basically pushed her into it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted her on the road with me. And I needed her on the road with me.
You were having some struggles at the time.
Yeah, I was struggling. Yeah, I'd just come out of rehab a few months before. And I was having a hard time.
Now, with her on the road with you, is your substance abuse gone, or is it just kind of tapering off? Are you sneaking things?
It was pretty much gone, you know, as far as the coke went.
Mm-hmm.
I still smoked a little pot and I drank.
Okay.
Which is not good. So anytime I pick up a drink, it's just the next page. You turn the page and it says cocaine.
Gotcha. So you were like,
that's the way it was. Yeah.
You would like escalate, get feeling good with
Real
like drinking
quick.
and say, okay,
Yeah.
Now what can make me feel good?
Now what? Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Was it planned for her to stay on the road with you for an extended period of time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
And she was there for a while. Do you recall why it went away?
We finished up with the Rude angle.
And that was just it. Vince didn't
That
have any
was
more
it.
plans for her moving forward.
That was it.
Well, Jake, another tough subject right now. Tragedy strikes the wrestling world at this time as Bruiser Brody passes away due to stab wounds sustained in Puerto Rico. Most of our listeners will be completely up to date on the story. It was covered on a Dark Side of the Ring episode back in the day.
Yeah.
So, you can stream that now. Jake, what was your reaction to the news of Brody being murdered in Puerto Rico?
It was horrifying, man. I'd known Bruiser since I got in the business. I refereed his matches, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd known him for some time, and we were friends. And just a horrible thing to happen, man. Just no excuse. I don't give a shit. The way it was handled was bullshit. The assholes are murderers, man. That's all I can tell you.
Man, horrible. And I know that you would eventually go on to work in Puerto Rico down the line here, but
Yeah, but not for them.
Right. But it's kind of I know I talked to Ted about this same situation, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I just didn't want to go to Puerto Rico after hearing that." And
Yeah.
did you feel that way, or were you fine with going out there?
Yeah, I didn't want to go. I got talked into going because the guys that I went for were in business against Carlos.
Okay.
So I felt good about, hoping this will fuck Carlos.
Man, horrible situation, certainly. Well, we're almost to SummerSlam, but at a taping on the way there, we get an absolutely iconic moment between yourself and Rude as he does a big reveal after a win against Tommy Angel. Let's have a look.
Please, the brain is in there. Well, what's he doing? He's tearing his tights off. Oh, Cheryl Roberts looking better than ever, isn't she? I can't believe that's what he's doing. Cheryl Roberts on tights underneath. The ones he had on. Oh, no. I can't look at this. Whoa! Here comes Jake the Snake from behind on the right. And look at this. Jake the Snake setting up Rude. Back body drop. Whoa! Whoa, he landed right on Cheryl. Whoa! The tights coming down. Coming on. Coming all the way off. Down to his ankles. Jake the Snake pulling those tights. Bobby Heenan comes in to attack from behind. Heenan's effect at literally no. His punches have no effect on Jake. Bobby Heenan takes off. Ravishing Rick Rude embarrassed. He's gone out of here. I guess that was a rude awakening, wasn't it, McMahon? I don't think Mr. Rude will be wearing those tights again.
Well, that is a moment, Jake, that gets brought up a lot online.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's not what they wanted.
It's not.
No.
Oh, please tell us about it.
No. Bottom line is, I said, if he has tights on underneath to show her face, I'm going to go out there and rip him off of it. That's the bottom line. There won't be no, I didn't get to him bullshit because I'm ripping him fucking off of it.
So had Rude told you ahead of time he planned to get it done?
Yeah. He said, man, what do you think about the tights? I said, brother, I can't let you wear them. I said, I've got to rip them off.
And what did Vince think about it when you just went running out there?
He didn't stop me.
So how could he? Well, I mean, first of all, he was announcing, so he literally couldn't stop you. But yeah, it's what a great way to make that angle even hotter, like an unplanned moment that just enhanced it even more.
Oh, it sure as hell did.
That was something else. Now, those tights, it's a weird question, but I mean, seeing your wife's face on another man's crotch or butt, like, was there any actual anger that you had, or were you fine?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I mean, fuck, give me a break. I got feelings too. No, I thought it sucked, and I didn't think it was anything to play with. That's why I ripped him off.
Well, you got to save face, and man,
that was the only thing I could do.
All right, well, let's start looking at the pay-per-view itself. WWF started with WrestleMania, then they created Survivor Series in '87, and now we've got a new pay-per-view concept here with the first ever SummerSlam. It's going to take place in one of the most famous arenas in the world, MSG, and the building is sold out. Jake, when you think about performing in this historic venue, I mean, it's the Garden, iconic. Yeah. Does any one match stand out for you as a favorite?
No, man.
It was pretty much just
anytime you're in there. It's just a weird feeling you get when you go in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you walk up and down the halls in the back, where everybody has used those dressing rooms. Everybody has been down those halls, going to the ring or going to the arena. That's where everybody came out. So you're walking amongst the stars there.
No question about it. I know that some people refer to it as the house that Bruno built, and I think it was 1987. You actually got to tag team with Bruno Sammartino on a couple of occasions. So it's really cool that you get to work here, and Jake, a lot of people say that Vince views it as kind of like the home base for the WWF.
He likes to, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think Vince viewed MSG in that kind of light?
Well, because it is the number one building in the world, man. I mean, you think of all the iconic buildings, MSG's at the top. Just the way it is.
Hard to argue it. And by the way, if anybody is interested in seeing a great Jake match from MSG, actually he made his WWF debut there back in the day, but also he wrestled Ted DiBiase in 1989. I think it was in April, and Dallas Page has actually said that that's his favorite match of all time, bar none.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's out there, guys. Go out of your way to see it. The main event has Jesse Ventura acting as a guest referee for the Mega Powers versus the Mega Bucks. A pretty huge spectacle with the Star Power. Plus, Jesse was just coming off of his run with Predator and the Running Man, so he was red hot here at this point. Jake, we probably won't talk much about Jesse here on the show, so here's our shot.
Yeah.
Pretty controversial figure. What was your relationship like with Jesse?
It was plain.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk much. Not much at all.
Did you dislike Jesse? Because I've heard that a lot of guys do.
I didn't dislike him. I just didn't have any reason to like him.
Well, what did you think of his work?
I thought his work was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he played a great heel. He did it well. Him and Vince were, they worked well together.
Him and Vince, him and Gorilla as well had a really strong chemistry.
Absolutely. Gorilla even better.
Did you go and see The Running Man or Predator, Jake?
I didn't.
Really?
No.
Like to this day, you've never seen either film?
I've seen parts of The Predator.
Okay.
But I never saw Running Man.
It's ridiculous, but pretty fun movie. Jake, before we get into your stuff at SummerSlam, I guess I should ask the question that everybody has asked and posted about on social. After all the buildup with yourself and Rude and the huge hype for this monumental first ever SummerSlam, why didn't you and Rick Rude have a match here at this pay-per-view?
Ask Vince. I have no idea, brother. Feels like we got the short end of the stick, don't it?
It does. And, all I can think is I know that there was a huge emphasis on house shows at this time. And maybe Vince was trying to make sure that the feud remained fresh so that they could kind of kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
But, it's the first ever SummerSlam. It's this huge event. It's in MSG.
Yeah.
All the pieces are there. And then you just have a cold match with Hercules.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Hard to wrap your head around, for sure.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, with the sold out MSG and some big numbers in pay-per-view sales, because they were getting reports of huge numbers with that main event. I mean, were you disappointed that you didn't have this milestone match here with Rude? Or
I was disappointed I didn't have the match, and I didn't get the money either.
What? I was going to ask that. Was there?
I remember the payday. It sucked.
So, this is a new pay-per-view. Was your payday just the same as it would have been?
Same old shit.
What in the world?
Yeah, man.
Oh
yeah.
Well, I know looking back on it, a lot of fans are disappointed by that. But if fans are disappointed here at the arena, that doesn't last for very long, because during Rude's match with JYD, he would make another big reveal, and we have that as our third clip this week.
They caught him off guard there.
Yes, it did.
That's what I'm talking about. Those managers getting involved at ringside as Rude goes up to the top. It's a long way down from there.
The dog can move. He better move if he has anything.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, is that Cheryl Roberts' face, brother?
Certainly is.
Oh, man, that's the
Exposing.
space.
Oh, look at this. Jake the Snake out of nowhere. And this place has gone bananas.
Oh, man, look at that shot to that forearm.
Rude with a 360 over the top rope.
Go on and get him, Snake. Go on and get him, brother.
Jake the Snake obviously watching this match. He took one look at that move, and he was in there.
And that was a wrong move for ravishing Rick Rude, brother. Jake the Snake is irate. Oh, is he irate? I say, Jake, go back and find out what locker room he's in and take control, brother, and get him right now.
I'm sure this is going to cost the dog the match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout as a result of a disqualification, Ravishing Rick Rude!
Well, you can't just appear there out of nowhere without constituting an automatic disqualification. That's interference in the match. Junkyard Dog.
Well, the Snake, he's consoling the Junkyard Dog right now, Gorilla.
All right, there it was. So that moment that we watched earlier had not aired yet on TV. It was going to air like a week or two after SummerSlam. So this is the first look that fans are getting at this moment with Rick Rude and the tights. So, I mean, a hell of a setup, even though, you guys don't actually have a match there. At least you got to get physical with them. And that crowd reaction should have told Vince all he needed to know, right?
Yeah, exactly. All he wanted to do is just pump it up a little bit.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our new sponsor, Fume, and their incredible product. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor or replacing one bad habit with another. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. They look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural, delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. I got my Fume in the mail and I was blown away by the amazing flavor. With options like crisp mint, orange vanilla, maple pepper, and more, there's truly something for everyone and every preference. Also, I am definitely a fidgeter, and Fume scratches that itch as well. It's perfectly balanced, feels great in my hand, and acts as a great stress reliever. Also, it just looks cool. The design includes real wood, a sleek look, and a great shape. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories. There's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use code SNAKE to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack. That's tryfum.com and use code SNAKE to save an additional 10% off your order today.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.
It worked, man. Hell of a setup. And it's cool seeing you in the ring here with JID, one of your old Mid-South buddies, and a guy that you had a rivalry with in Canada, which, man, guys go out of your way to watch that stuff. I think it was the first or second ever ladder match back in the day. The first ever ladder match. Yeah. And it is not a ladder match like you would think. It's there. You guys are like leaning it on a cable and then climbing up the cable, which seems horribly dangerous.
It was.
Well, Dog wasn't going to be in the WWF for very much longer after this. As a matter of fact, I think it's just like a month or two later, and he's out. And he was not the same performer that he once was. I know that cocaine and addiction had kind of gotten the better of Dog by this point. He was starting to get really heavy. Jake, when did you start to see the cracks beginning to appear for JYD?
Wow. Just, you could see it talking to him. He just wasn't there anymore. You know, you try to have a conversation with him and it's just nothing. Really sad. Really makes me sick, man, when I look back on it. I should have done something. Should have said something, done something, tried something. But there was no reaching him at that time. You know, you couldn't reach him. I tried several times to reach out to him and got nothing.
Yeah, and heck, I mean, you were fighting some demons of your own at this point, you know, so it's hard to.
It scared the hell out of me just to be around him.
Right, because it's like, okay, this is what could be happening.
Yeah, I should have looked at it like that.
Scary, and you know, especially knowing like the heights that JYD had risen to in Louisiana, where he was one of the biggest stars the city had ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah, and you know, to see him have this fall from grace was really tough. I mean, when you were in Mid-South with him near the end of his run, did you start to see it then, or was it only when you got here?
Yeah, no, it was already beginning down there.
Man, it's a shame.
He started getting away from everybody, you know, and making long trips by himself. And it's just no good, man. Let's get off of that.
Yeah, we can move on. We're finally on to our match here with another guy that you got to know pretty well during your Mid-South days. It's Hercules Hernandez. As I mentioned, the match is ice cold, no build. Jake, you know, a big part of your game is psychology. Did you feel like the lack of build for this match hurt it?
Sure it did. There was no reason for us to be out there. It was a cold match. But what Vince wants, Vince gets.
The match itself, I went and watched it back. It's pretty good. Jake, I heard you give a little laugh whenever I mentioned Herc. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that man?
He hits me in the top of the head one time during the match that almost fucking killed me. Oh my God. I was on the floor and he reached over the top rope and punched me in the top of the head. And it compressed my spine.
Wow.
I mean, my neck just, you know, and I was like, what the fuck? And then another time during the match, we're in a hole and he goes, I'll shoot you off. I want to do the fly. The what? The fly. What's the fly? I don't know. I'll show you. And he shoots me off the rope. And whenever I come off the rope, he just jumps up in the fucking air and does like that and fucking punches me. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Are you keeping your shit together out there in front of the crowd? Or are you just
trying?
How could you?
Trying. Fuck no, because it hurt.
Was he pretty stiff overall?
Yes.
Like when you see him backstage after he just randomly punches down out of a ring at the top of your head, you're like, hey man, what the fuck are we doing out there?
Oh, he was complaining because he broke his hand.
Oh my God.
He says to me, you broke my hand. Wait a minute. I didn't fucking punch your hand with my head. You know what I mean? Are you fucking kidding me? You broke my hand. Goddamn. What are you gonna? Oh man, look at my hand. Fuck you. Look at my fucking hand, man. I had like a rooster crown up there.
Oh my God. What a character, man. My goodness. And you had told the story before about somebody trying to knock him out, or he was trying to knock somebody out.
He was trying to knock out Boo Thomas and couldn't do it. I mean, broke his hands trying.
My God, this guy was punching hard enough to break his hands.
Yeah, but he couldn't knock the guy out.
Just a beast of a guy. And we've got the final moments here of your match with him at SummerSlam.
Dislocated his jaw. Herc is wandering around like he's staggering, like he's half knocked out. He's an open target right now, brother.
Look at the Snake is measuring him now with lefts and rights, left jabs.
I love it. I love it.
Oh! Sugar Ray would have been proud of that one.
Yes, he would have. What a right hand that was, brother.
He's winding him up here. There's that short clothesline. That patented job of his.
You know what follows that short clothesline, don't you, brother?
They're screaming for it.
They're on their feet in Madison Square Garden.
Thousands want to see it. Oh, look at that counter move by Hart.
That's the power. That's the power that comes into play right there. That's the edge that Hercules has over the Snake Man.
He missed the knee lift. Came right down on the back of his head.
And I guarantee you one thing, Jake the Snake is not thinking about Rip Rude right now.
Absolutely not. Came right down on the back of the head, that external occipital protuberance area. That'll knock you right into the middle of next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up in the dictionary. That one.
And Herc with an elbow, dropped the beauty. Could be all over here. 1, 2. No, the Snake slithers out the back door.
Yes, he did. Resilience on the Snake's part. And Herc says, why don't you count a little faster, referee? Get down there and count 1, 2, 3 a little quicker. Oh, Hercules looks confident
right now. He was paying attention, but he was. Oh, sneaks over the back.
He did it.
He nailed him with a DDT.
He pulled him up and went up. I don't believe my eyes, but can he pin him? Does he have enough?
He's rolling around there. Now he's rolled over on top one.
Yes.
He got him. Oh. Let's get the picture word.
Here we go, winner, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake Roberts. What a fantastic move. Pulling the DDT right out of nowhere. And look at them. They're on their feet.
Out comes the Snake. That's what I want to see. How big is the python, brother?
Here comes Damien. Whoa, excuse me. Some 15 feet at least.
Look how big that Snake is.
Oh, he's sticking it right in the face of Hercules.
Sticking your snake in Hercules' face.
Yeah, thank God he didn't open his mouth.
Jake, that float over that you did into the DDT, just like awesome athleticism and just such a cool spot.
Oh, yeah.
That I have to say, man, it looks like you're in like maybe the peak physical condition of your career here. Would you agree with that?
Probably am. I'm in the best shape of my life right there.
Now, do you feel like you were turning in the best work of your career, or would that have come earlier?
No, that would have come earlier.
When do you think that period was?
Probably 86, 87.
Okay, prior to the guitar smash, you would say.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Well, you had worked with Hercules previously, of course, in Mid-South, but he had a lot more reps by this point.
Oh,
and, you know, the guy had a great look. He wasn't.
He's a solid performer, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just a giant build and a good performer. But, I mean, his work, ring work, you thought it was pretty decent?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was spot on, man. Every now and then he'd hit you with one that would wake you up.
Sounds like it.
Or put you to sleep.
Or give you that big rooster thing on top of you.
Yeah. for the most part, though, he was spot on.
I know you did
I loved him so much, man. He was such a great guy, a good friend of mine. Oh my God, I can't. I miss him too, man. Wow.
Everything I've heard about Herc from everyone in the business, everyone who got to know him, was that they loved him. And just a fantastic human being.
Yeah, he was, man.
Well, Jake, we've got plenty of listener questions, and I think the first one here fits pretty well. It's from our old pal Peter D. He says, "Hi, Jake. Hercules had a great look and seemed fine at promos, yet he never really became a main event star in the WWF. What do you think held him back?"
Oh, Herc had a way of disappearing every now and then.
Really?
Yeah, he would disappear for a day or two.
Just like no show, no call, no show events?
Yeah.
Do you know if he dealt with any substance abuse issues?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so maybe that was kind of at the root of it.
Yeah, alcohol was his demon, you know.
Gotcha.
Alcohol was his demon.
A couple more listener questions and we'll call it a day. Steve Cohen asks, how did Cheryl feel about having her face airbrushed on Rick Rude's tights?
What do you think? Oh, damn, give me a break. Ask me a real question.
Sorry, Steve, I tried. We got Dylan Leahy who asks,
Steve, your mother's going to be on my underwear before the night's over. How about that?
Well, we'll ask Steve how he feels once we get that on social media. And then we can find out how his mom feels too.
Oh, absolutely.
Dylan Leahy asks, besides yourself and Scott Hall, is Rick Rude the best wrestler to never win a world championship?
Probably.
Got to be him or Piper, right?
Yeah. There's a long list. There
is. And guys, that's going to do it for this week. Make sure you tune in next week as we welcome a very special guest, a guy he's had his fingerprints on a lot of creative ideas that we've enjoyed on TV over the years. And one of Jake's closest friends. We're talking about Sin Bodie, who will be joining Jake and I as a guest on the program next week. And I cannot wait to chat with him.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be fun for sure. And folks, if you're looking for a great opportunity, why don't you get over to advertisewithsnake.com and join in with myself and the Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. If you're looking to attract that 25 to 54-year-old male demographic, there's just no place better to do it. My podcast partner here is an absolute legend, and he could be giving his endorsement to your product or service. He's still on TV. He's still out making the towns all the time, doing his signings and live shows. And when he talks, folks, people listen. Again, head over to advertisewithsnake.com and make Jake Roberts your tag team partner today. If you can't make it out to see Jake live at a show or a signing, how about do the next best thing? Get over to jakethesnakeshop.com and get your hands on some rare signed collectibles. You can either wait until Jake comes to a city near you, or you can go right now to jakethesnakeshop.com. Go and get yourself a signed 8x10. How about some custom action figures? We mentioned Sin Bodie there a minute ago, and he makes some incredible signed action figures, kind of the perfect complement to any wrestling collection and the perfect centerpiece, like on your desk. You know, he's got those Greek statues. He's got those incredible snake heads. It's half skull, half Jake's head. I mean, those things look absolutely unbelievable, and you can own one. And by the way, Jake will sign them. So get over there right now. It's jakethesnakeshop.com. If you can't make it out to one of the signings and you'd rather have the personal interaction with Jake, well, you can still get that too. Go over to cameo.com/JakeSnake and check out the reviews for our guy Jake. Here's a review after Jake gave a pep talk to his fan Adam. Jake, your cameo was amazing. My husband loved it. He laughed. He cried. Big love. If you or someone you know is a wrestling fan, a cameo from Jake is an absolute must. Again, it's cameo.com/JakeSnake. Summer's nearly at an end, but you can still get some excellent gear over at boxofgimmicks.com. Check out the sweet new tank tops that we have. We've got one with the ice cream bar on it. We've got another one that's got Jake from back in his early days in pro wrestling, a whole other look at Jake. But we want to honor the entire career of Jake the Snake Roberts, and we do that over at boxofgimmicks.com on the Snake Pit page. Seriously, I've said it here before, guys. I am a huge fan of 80s and 90s wrestling. That was the era that I grew up in. And we pay tribute to all of that old merch, to the aesthetic of the 80s and 90s. And if you're a fan of that era like I am, you are going to love what you find over at boxofgimmicks.com on the Snake Pit page. Check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod for short clips from our show, highlights, and some exclusive content. We also did a giveaway not too long ago, and we've got another one coming. We've sent out an action figure. We've sent out a signed trading card from the 90s, and we've got some really cool stuff coming down the pike, and you can be part of it. All you have to do is get over to youtube.com/@SnakePitPod and become a subscriber. That's it. That's all you have to do, and you are automatically eligible for all future giveaways. Also, if you've enjoyed our podcast, please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on all platforms. That helps Jake and I out a whole bunch. Also, just a reminder, you can get the Snake Pit and all of our other shows in our network early and ad-free over at adfreeshows.com. It starts at just $9 a month. That is less than 15 cents an episode each month. Plus, there's a ton of bonus content, interactive chats with your favorite hosts and wrestling personalities, and some exclusive ad-free shows podcasts. We just announced it on social media, and yours truly is going to be hosting it. It's the Hacksaw Hour with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It's going to come out twice a month. We're going to be doing a mailbag series, and we're also going to be focused in on one particular part of Jim's career on the other episode each month. I've already recorded a couple episodes with Jim, and let me say, he's a fantastic podcaster, and that podcast is going to be a blast. Again, it's adfreeshows.com. Get over there, get signed up. If you're a wrestling fan, it's the best value in the business. Catch Jake on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. Follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on Twitter, and you can follow the podcast at Snake Pit Pod on all social media platforms. Fun look back 35 years here today at the first ever SummerSlam, and a good look back at one of Jake's most famous rivalries with Rick Rude. I'm looking forward to more, and we'll see you guys next week right here on The Snake Pit.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. You've heard Conrad talk about the total nonstop savings they provided current homeowners. But did you know Conrad and his team can also help My World listeners become homeowners? They make buying a home easier than getting the bag after a good housekeeping match. But don't take the Last Outlaw's word for it.
Franklin Dove, Orlando, Florida. After listening to all of Conrad's podcasts and hearing the different stories that he shared, I felt the time was right for me to explore buying a home again, and reached out, and one thing led to another, and finally closed last week. It was excellent. Everything flowed smoothly from my first contact. I just put in the initial request online. Francis reached out. We started the application process, got the approval moving. Holly was great. Larry Thompson was amazing. Everything was smooth. Communication was perfect. Really, it was a much better experience than anything that I could have imagined. My name is Franklin Dove in Orlando, Florida, and I got into my dream home thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
That's right. In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. That's right. It's SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender. Woo!